What if there was a place where everything you've ever done, everything you've ever felt, and every possibility you will ever face already exists? A place so vast, it holds the memories of not just your life, but every life. And here's the question that keeps me up at night. If you could step inside that place, would you? Would you dare to know everything? They call it the Akashic Records, not a library of wood and stone, but a library of light and energy. It doesn't appear on any map. You don't walk there. You tune in, like a radio signal, buried under the noise of the world. But the first thing you need to understand is this. The records will not open for curiosity alone. They open when you're ready to listen. Act 2. The restless mind had read about them for years. Articles, books, strange interviews with people who claimed they had been there. Some spoke of a hall of knowledge. Others described it as a field of light, but the descriptions didn't matter. The question was, could I get there? I tried one night. It was harder than I thought. The mind doesn't like stillness. It squirms. It fidgets. It throws old memories at you, random songs, unfinished to-do lists. But there's a secret, and I didn't learn it from a book. I learned it by failing, over and over. You have to let the mind run, like a child who needs to get tired before sleeping. You watch the thoughts, without chasing them, and eventually, something shifts. Remember the first time it happened. The noise faded. The restlessness softened. And then I felt it. A hum deep inside my chest. It wasn't a sound. It was a feeling, like the world had tilted slightly, and I was falling into a space between seconds. Act 3, crossing the threshold. The hum grew, until it wasn't just in my chest. It was in the air, in the walls, in me. And then, without warning, the room dissolved. It didn't vanish. It stretched, like someone had pulled reality out into threads of light. The floor beneath me was gone, yet I wasn't falling. I was floating. Far ahead I saw shelves. Endless shelves, but not made of wood or stone. They were woven from something alive, something that shimmered, like sunlight through water. The air felt charged, not heavy, not light, just aware. And in that moment, I understood. This place wasn't watching me. It was remembering me. I reached for the nearest shelf. The books weren't books at all. They were glowing shapes, shifting like breath. When I touched one, it opened, not onto pages, but into a scene. Act 4, the pages that breathe. The first scene was me, not the me of today, not the me of last year, but a me I had forgotten. I was 8, sitting under the old elm tree in my grandmother's yard. I had been crying because another kid told me I'd never be good enough to be a writer. I could smell the grass, feel the rough bark against my back, hear my own small voice whisper, "Maybe he's right." But from here, I also felt something else, a deep compassion for that little boy who didn't yet know that words would one day be his gift. I closed the scene. Another one opened. This time, it wasn't the past. It was something I hadn't lived yet. I was standing in a room, holding a letter in my hand. I could feel the weight of it. The ink was still fresh. I didn't read the words, but I knew they were life-changing. And yet, in another scene, that letter never existed. Because in that version of me, I'd made a different choice months earlier. It hit me. The records don't just hold the past. They hold the branches, every possible outcome, every path you could walk. And the one you will walk is the one you write with your choices. Act 5. The question that changes everything. In the middle of this ocean of memory, I felt a question rise inside me. It wasn't planned. It wasn't even conscious. It was simply, why am I here? The records didn't answer with words. They answered with a feeling, a warmth, spreading from my chest to my fingertips. And then I was standing in another scene. It was me, but not in the past, not in the future. It was me, from outside of time. I saw every version of myself. The boy under the elm tree, the teenager who almost gave up, the adult who chased approval instead of joy. All of them, watching me, waiting, and I understood. They weren't there to judge me. They were there to remind me that the story I was living was mine to tell. Act 6. The lesson in the light around me began to shift, swirling into shapes I couldn't name. And then I saw it. A blank page, bright, infinite, untouched. It wasn't just a page. It was my page, the unwritten future. And in that moment, I knew the records don't exist to trap you in fate. They exist to show you that you are free, free to rewrite, free to forgive, free to choose again. Felt my breath deepen. The light began to fade, and before I knew it, I was back in my room. But I didn't feel ordinary anymore. I felt aware, like the hum from that place was still echoing quietly inside me. Act 7. The return for days after. I moved differently. Not slower, not faster, just with more attention. When I spoke, I noticed the weight of my words. When I chose, I felt the ripple of each decision. It wasn't magic. It was remembering that every moment is a sentence, and every day is a page. We are all holding the pen, whether we realize it or not. The Akashic records are not locked in some faraway dimension. They are here, in every choice you make, in every breath you take before speaking, in every moment you decide to love instead of fear. And maybe the greatest secret they hold is that you've been the author all. So, what will you write next?